Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
Where we continue to follow the capture and killing of Osama bin Laden now.
Those are just some of the scenes overnight as thousands of Americans gathered in celebration of Osama bin Laden's death.
Former Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill says he has thought about the mission every day since that May Day in 2011.
From multiple conversations you had with Rob O'Neill over the past year and a half, how'd you get
access? And you described that his head kind of exploded when you hit him.
I actually hit him 3 times because I shot him twice when he was standing and once on the ground.
That is the fucking American badass right there.
We are not going for fame and we are not going for bravado. We are going for the single mom who dropped her kids off at elementary school on a Tuesday morning, and then 45 minutes later she jumped to her death out of a skyscraper.
If you need help, hang up and then dial your operator.
I'm Rob O'Neill, and this is the Operator Podcast. All right, welcome back to the Operator Podcast. I'm Robert J. O'Neill, former Navy SEAL, and I'm here with former Navy SEAL Drago Dzieran, complete badass. It's always nice to have a complete operator in every sense of the word on here with Drago. We left off talking about obviously moving from a socialist country, Poland, along with prison time, smuggling, trying to get out of the country, dealing with socialists and communists, stuff like that. Getting to the United States, simply going to get to pick a city in a country that seemed like a fairy tale, which is the United States, and pick a city that you want. Drago was just impressed with how you can decide where you want to go, and because he grew up in such poverty, extreme poverty under socialism in Poland, he said he wanted to go somewhere hot, and they asked him if he ever heard of Memphis, Tennessee, and he went to Tennessee, and he saw everything from learning the English language by immersion and a few pool parties, and then seeing how great this country is by going to like the supermarket with friends, and they're telling him he can fill up his grocery cart with whatever he wants, and it's not just a thin slice of meat or sausage. If you can find it like it was in Poland, or bread with butter and sugar, you can pick cereal based on the color of the box and how pretty the box of cereal is. All the meat you want that would normally feed families, we could have it in a barbecue of 4 around the pool, and then discussing a little bit of skydiving and a little bit of potential military service because of the Gulf War, wanting to get back into it or into the fight in the first place. And then because of skydiving, we're going to figure out which branch of service Drago picked. So here we go. I think that big ratings come from bad news. So when we watch social media and we watch the 24-hour news cycle, the worst stuff is going to get the highest ratings, which is why it's always out there. It's going to get the most clicks. But when you go out in the real world, I think that here, at least, most people are good. And the way that I describe it is America is not the people beating each other up in the streets. It's the convoy that starts in Southern California, goes through Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, picks up more people, and they're on their way to Florida to help hurricane victims. That's what America is. And I know it's out there too. And people could use a little smack of positivity once in a while, because I really think most people are good, especially here. And I love hearing you say that a lot of people don't even notice it because they're used to it.
Because this is natural to them. This is normal. But please remember, this is normal, but it is normal only in America. This is not normal anywhere around the world. And I know in Poland now is becoming similar. When I talked to a friend of mine, Pavel from Polish Special Forces, Grom, when he came here to visit me, he was telling me how this thing is changing now, that there's still people don't wave to everybody, don't say hello every time, but they do too. Poland is very friendly now, becoming a lot more friendly than when I was growing up there, where it was sometimes dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Can we get into, so how long were you doing the mechanic thing?
Well, I was doing this until I became, until the first Persian War broke out. By this time, I was very well established. Matter of fact, I changed the job from working for Saab to Mercedes. And And then I started skydiving. I went through the course. I became actually jump master. I was teaching skydiving, and the first Persian War broke out. That's I. That was yeah. So this is when I decided I need to do something. I for these people. I'm living awesome life. I have everything in abundance. I have everything I can dream of. I never even dream of things that before I came to America that I had at the time in Memphis. So I say I need to do something. I will volunteer, and if there is a war, I will fight the war on behalf of America. And I just didn't know how to do it. So I figured out that I seen on the post office sometimes these white cards. I don't remember what it was, how it called it. This is the not selective
service,
young kids here. Selective service, yeah. The draft card, something you register yourself as a young person. Well, I thought that this is the way you join the military. So I went up there, I filled it up, I sent it off. I filled it up like the best I could. I mailed it. And then I went back to my apartment. I start packing my stuff. The skydiving friends I was living with, we were roommates at the time. It's like, where are you going? Are you moving out? I say, well, I'm going to war. You're going to war? When? I say, well, soon. I just registered myself for the war. So this like
so you fill out the selective services card and just send it off.
Yeah, I thought I sent it off. I was just like, I packed my stuff and I was like, any day now, any day I'm there.
But I'm packing. I'll be ready when they knock on the door.
Yeah. So the answer came like a month later. I say, well, you're kind of too old now. It's like 31 years old. You don't need to fill this card up. But we thank you for your,
right.
For zeal and stuff. So I was like, what do I do? So I showed this card to my friends, and they said, that's not contract. You need to go talk to recruiting office. So they actually pointed me to the Army recruiting office, where I went up there. I told them that who I am, and because it is war, I would like to go join military. When my idea was that after the war, I will just come back and resume my normal life. But here,
right.
That was my moral obligation to go and fight on behalf of America. So I've told them that, and they just started, okay, well, we're going to start. Where would you like to serve? I like, well, whoever goes first to war, the unit, I would like to be there. And I didn't know the difference between Army, Navy. For me, it was just the military. It was everything.
Yeah, right.
So they put me somewhere where I can go and fight the war. And then, so they say, okay, we're going to put you somewhere in infantry where you can go to war right away. Say, okay, thank you. So, it took a while to fill the paperwork because I came from a different country. And but I just became a U.S. citizen before that too. So there was this is something that I left it for later because I would like to expand a little bit on it. So as a U.S. citizen, I walked to this office. I told them what I want to do. And they say, okay, perfect. And then, they say it will be a while before we complete this paperwork. So I understood. So I resumed my normal life. I was checking in with the recruiting office while skydiving. It happened at that time, Navy SEALs came to do demonstrational jump.
Get out of here.
Yeah, the leapfrogs.
Yeah.
So what they do in time off, they come to our drop zone where I skydive, when I teach skydiving. So we started skydiving together, and I told them, I couldn't wait to tell them, yeah, you are Navy. I'm going to join you in the war. And this I told them what I did. So they're going to scratch their head. I said, their heads. I was like, well, did you try Navy? I was like, what's that? I mean, that's military. Well, no. The Navy is a little bit different than Army. There's Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and all that stuff, and Coast Guard. I'm like, okay. And they kind of like a little bit told me, just go to the Navy, just ask about it, and tell them that you want to be a SEAL. So I say, okay. So I run up to the recruiting office in the time off.
They're kind of doing you a favor, but not really doing you a favor.
So I will walk in and like, hey, I'm joining the military. I want to go to war for America. And what do I need to do? They say, well, what do you want to, okay, did you do anything yet? Did you think what you want to do? I say, well, yes, I have my paperwork with the next door office, the army people up there. I didn't think much about, I didn't know that you guys are different. So what do I need to do? I say, well, just go to them and tell them that you're going to join the Navy. Just bring the paperwork. So I was just like, okay.
Okay.
So I went up there. I did not like it. That's like,
no,
well,
you're a billet. You're just a billet.
Military almost. You're about to go, and now you just go up. I said, like, well, yeah. So they gave me the paperwork. I went to the next door, and they said, "What do you want to do in the Navy?" I said, "I think I want to be a SEAL." Like, ooh, really? I said, "Yeah." So, okay, how old are you? I'm like 31, going 32. Well, the cutoff time, age limit is 28.
Yeah.
But you know what? I guarantee you sign this contract, you sign this paperwork, we finish it, you sign it, they will make a SEAL out of you. There's no doubt. You just go there. I say, okay. At least they were nice to me. They say, like, what do you, in case you don't make to the SEAls, what job would you like to do?
In case I lied to you, what would you like to do on the ship?
So I say, well, I'm skydiving, something with parachutes maybe. They're like, yeah, parachute again. Sure, sounds great to me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, here we go. So they start filling up the paperwork. They completed it. They call me in the office one day and say, like, so if you want to be parachute rigger, you need to, you're gonna miss the window, or you will go like next week, because when you finish boot camp, you need to go to that A school to be parachute rigger.
Yeah.
But that school's on such and such day, so to make that school, you have to go now, or you will have to wait another, like, I don't remember, 3 or 4 or 5 months. So I say, no, I don't want to miss the war. So
yeah, right.
Sign you up. And they say, okay. So
yeah, I got to go now because PRs are on the front line.
I didn't know. So I say, so they say, okay, but so what will happen is on Thursday, I think Thursday or Friday, you will go and they will swear you'll be sworn into the entry program. I had no idea what that was at the time. But, and then you will leave, I think on Saturday, you will fly. I think it was Saturday or Monday. But anyway, so Thursday, I went up there. But before I went to Deb to be sworn into the military, I called my girlfriend at the time. I said, hey, I'm going to the Navy, so we need to get married. She said, oh, really? What? I said, well, but I'm leaving like next week. What? Okay, yeah, we need to get married because otherwise, we won't get married.
No, yeah, this is it.
So she cried, but they say, okay. So we in the weekday, just before the Thursday, we ran somewhere downtown to the courthouse in Memphis. We found some judge, was after hours already. He just was leaving, but like, okay, this is special, so I will do it. So he married us, like ominous dominus. We signed the paper. Yeah. We were married. So to Deb, I went with my girlfriend as my wife already at the time. And we divorced later, but that time, like, I was in heaven. So yeah, then I just, at that time, we still were flying. They were flying us from Memphis. I flew to Chicago airport. And there was another recruit too. I think 2 or 3 of us were on the airplane. I was actually sitting next to the guy next to me who was going to this center. So I asked him where he's going. He said, I'm going to join the Navy. I said, me too. So we found out actually we ended up in the same company.
Oh, cool.
And so we landed there. They make us wait until like late night. They pack us on the bus. They drove us to Great Lakes to boot camp. And then the whole hell broke loose. I was like, what the fuck?
It's a confusing first few days, especially if you don't really speak the language.
I got scared. Dude, I was like, what the hell? Maybe that's going to be really tough. And I said, but you know what? I told myself, America needs me. America needs people fighting the wars. I will be one of them because I could not build the jobs. That was my reasoning was I was living a good life, but I had no skills, no resources to build jobs for my fellow Americans to help them, but I could fight the war for them.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. It was really, I really felt like that's the right thing to do. That's what I need to do. And that's how I ended up. So then I said, I'm not going to quit on this. I'm going to go and do it. And I did. So I went to boot camp. I had almost got kicked back to previous class because it happened I had a kidney stone. And
oh man.
Yeah, I was on the upper bunk. It was so powerful. It's like somebody kicked me in the kidneys. And I thought this from the prison time, maybe it's my injury from where they were beating me on the kidneys with those sticks, the prison guards. But so I fell on the floor. I got on my fours, on my floor, and I tell you, within 5 minutes, I had that big pot of sweat under me. I was just dripping out of me. So my company, they called medical, they called emergency. They came in. I still remember the corpsman comes up. Are you okay? It's like, do I look okay to you? No. So they got me. Then found out it was a kidney stone. I said, well, it's no big deal. But they told me, I spent 7 days there. We're gonna put you to the class back so we can recover.
That sucks.
And I remember I was like pleading with them, please don't do it. I'm okay now. The kidney I passed, I pissed it out. So I'm good. Please put me in the same class. Especially I was doing so good. I was like one of the top recruits. Well, I thought in the class, but actually I was top recruit in all classes graduating that day. So I said, they put me back in the class. I continue. I remember still walking into the bathroom where we were staying, and all these guys were clapping. Yeah, he's a tough motherfucker. He's coming back. They welcomed me. Dude, it almost made me cry. I look at these guys and it's like, wow, I'm in the good company. And this is where we were told about the U.S. Navy, about America, even more about the history of America. I was eating it up. That was just so fantastic. I just couldn't wait to use my knowledge, and I find out later that I'm graduating as a number one on the graduation.
Kidding. Now, did you take the test for SEAL? Did you take the test for SEAL training?
Oh, I did that. Yeah, in the meantime, I took the test. Also, before that, after I took the test for Navy SEALs on this special day where they bring in the classroom. They tell you about the different jobs in the Navy, especially for those who didn't have jobs. And there were SEALs too. So I just couldn't wait. Like, I want to be there. So they did. I passed the test.
First time?
First time. But swimming very hard for me. But I kind of like, I made it the time, but there was no style in it. So I made it. And then the kidney stone came in. And at the end of, so I got it over with it. I continue with my company, with my class. And then at the end of the boot camp, those guys for SEALs, they had to go through medical checkup. So mine too. Everything went smooth until I went to the doctor who looked at my paperwork, like for general health, and look, you can't go to births. I say, why? You had the kidney stone. So with kidney stone, it's not disqualifying completely, but you have to wait 1 year because usually because they say what we see is if you get one kidney stone within a year, you might have another one. If you do have another one, then most likely you won't be able to serve within the SEAL teams. But so you have to wait 1 year. And I have this paper actually. I made the copy because one copy you get and one copy went to my medical record. So I have that one. I still have it. It says deferred for 1 year. It's not disqualifying completely. So I posted on the website one day
So you got into buds, but they're going to defer you for a year. Did you go to PR?
No, not the buds. That was still in boot camp. So I had a kidney stone in boot camp. I passed the kidney stone, but that was after the exam. I took.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
But they deferred it for a year.
Yeah, they deferred me 4 years. So they told me that I will go to A school just to become the parachute rigger, the PR.
And that's in Millington. That's right by Memphis.
Yeah. So that was by Memphis. So that was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
And but I will have to wait for at least a year before I apply for the SEAL program. I say, okay, I was not that disappointed because for me it was not really, the SEALs was the gravy. I would love to be a SEAL. I said, this is great, but my goal was to serve America. It really didn't matter to me if it was SEALs, the parachute riggers, and these guys are also parachute riggers. They are so smart that actually it's very hard to advance in that range.
Yeah. I was a PR as well. I learned how to sew in Millington, Tennessee, and I thought it was because we were both PRs in our platoon, and that was a great skill because it's sewing, and other like sailors make fun of you, but when you start working on gear and uniforms and all that stuff, sewing's one of the best traits you can have.
Stitch bitch.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything.
That's what they call it.
So, anyway. So after that, so how long do you wait? Did you work as a PR? Did you go back to Buds after that in a year? Or what'd you do?
No, what happened to me is Petty Officer Barrios, Les Barrios. He was a SEAL motivator in Millington when I was going to the A school as a PR. Rest in peace, brother. I mean, I owe him so much. He was a SEAL motivator. And so when I arrived there, and I didn't think much about it. I was already told I have to wait a year. But then I met people like Jason Cabell, my really good friend, and I mean, he was a great motivator. He great guy. He was motivating me. Okay, we need to go work out. We need to do this. So we connected together, and a great guy. I mean, I love this guy. I mean, I might not be a SEAL, maybe if not him and his motivations and his help. So then I said, you know what? Why don't I go and ask that SEAL motivator on base? So I was about to finish my A school. I was one of the top students there as well. And I went to his office. I said, Petty Barrios, I would like to be a SEAL. And I passed the test. But I had a kidney stone. Just look at me and say, well, I'm not the doctor. How I cannot fix your kidney stones. I say, yeah, well, but I passed the test in boot camp, but that kidney stone prevented me from going to Buds. Maybe you can give me another test. Maybe you can look in some waiver thing. He's like, look at me, waiver. Okay, well, go get your medical record. I'd like to hear you chat, give it to them in medical, and bring your medical record here. So we take a look at it. I was like, wow, maybe there is some waiver he can get me for this.
That's very.
Yeah. We have to. I didn't have a car. I had to walk everywhere. So I ran up there. I brought the medical record, handed it to him, and I'm waiting what magic he will come up with, what magic he will do. He just look at me and say, step outside. Say, yes, Petty Officer Barrios. Step outside. I'm just kind of like listening a little bit what's going on up there, and I can hear the shuffling the papers and say, okay. So come on in. So I just look, my record is up, and so show me where is that thing saying about your kidney stone. I say it is right here. I'm looking.
Nothing.
There's nothing there. I said I don't see it. I say, why? Are you sure you had a kidney stone? It's like, no,
I'm actually not.
I'm not. Okay, good. Let's take a test tomorrow. I passed the test, and then I had to wait for my orders to Buds because they were still not given. Right? They may send you to Buds, but
right.
Nothing with the SEALs. Nothing.
They don't. Yeah, they don't have to.
Right. So then I would eventually. I remember that was very stressful for me because I wanted to be a SEAL.
Of course.
And then the order came in, they called me in the office, say, I have your orders to Buds, you need to report in
yes.
a second. I just couldn't wait to leave this office so I can scream and yell.
That's a big one. The orders to Buds is the first big step because they're giving you a chance now. That's so cool. So did you drive out there? Did you fly out there? What they did?
I drove up there, and I just that drive was like, I thought it will never end. I just keep going. I just wanted to be there. I just wanted to be.
Yeah, it's a long drive. Those are big states out west.
Yeah. No, and then And I remember my understanding was at the time, I thought they're going to lock me in the prison, almost like a prison, because how can you train SEALs and let them just go every? It's not
that's a first surprise too, because you don't realize what the compound's like, and a lot of people don't realize, you're going to get weekends off because you need it to heal, or just go into Coronado, do whatever.
Yeah, I thought I'd be just locked up, so I was falling back on my experience with Polish prison. I say, they beat me up there. They did, I spent there sitting there for a long time. So what, 6 months? I can survive in prison. I'll just if I don't call you, it's good, because that means I'm still in training. I didn't know. And when I show up there, I checked in. I remember it's like, hey, let's go out. It's like, out where? We'll drink. Okay.
Okay. I guess that, I think that one major difference between prison and buds is if you fuck up at buds, they let you out. You're not, you're gone. So what now? So you check in which buds class?
Yeah.
Which one?
184. 184. I checked in first, and I thought that was so cool. And I remember coming to on the quarterdeck for the first time too. I was told that I will have a day off. We were told, until the day is over. When the day is over in buds, you can, if you leave out the base, you can go home, or you can just do whatever you want to do. So I couldn't believe that. I called my wife, say, hey, actually, you can come here to Coronado. We can get some apartment, and we can live there. We can be, we can be together. So she drove back to San Diego, and I thought that was like the best, coolest thing. How can you can train the SEALs, and you don't have to be killing these people. You don't have to keep them in prison. They can still go outside. They can still go do things. And for me, that was fantastic. I loved it. Don't think what I couldn't do being old. But at that time, I was over 32 years old, going 33. So kind of like after each day, I look at these young kids, 18, 19, 20 years old. I'm kind of a bit jealous. They just go shake themselves off and just go keep drinking, go back to drinking or party, or just enjoying the life. I'm just limping to bed just to go survive another day. And sometimes I went down.
But you've proven you can put up with a lot of shit, though.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not bad, getting off work at SEAL training, then taking a ride down PB and going to Carl's Jr. for a big Western cheeseburger. It's a little different.
And I was partying out. I did party.
Of course.
So that
was it's different in your 30s, I'm sure, but in buds, I think you get in such good shape that you can drink a little and still work the next day. Yeah. I remember watching the buds instructors. The instructors come in. There was one instructor the day after Halloween, and apparently he went as the devil because he showed up to PT and he's still colored red. It's like, I think like the XO came out, I was like, you need to go home and sleep this one off, man. I'm ready to go. So is there any particular bud stories that stand out?
There is actually one I totally forgot about it. And actually, Alan Saviano reminded me about it on the LinkedIn. So, like it was second phase, and you remember the rules, right? You will not leave the base in the greens, in the uniform.
Yeah, right.
You will not leave the base. If you do, there'll be punishment, or you could actually be kicked out from.
You can get kicked out for that, sure.
For that shit. So, but I was so tired usually, and I leave off base. So I'm like, well, you know what? I just go home right now. I take a chance. I think we'll be okay. Now it's like I'm almost so long time I'm driving there and nothing happens. Well, I'm driving on my street where I was living. The little apartment was in the dead end street. So as I'm driving there, there's a huge crowd on this little tiny street. I just have to I couldn't even drive through it, around it, because it was also packed. So I kind of stopped. It was in the evening, and I was after the pool comp. So
shit.
So I was tired. It was very stressful for me, but I passed it. I was happy. But
this is right after pool comp.
Yeah, right after pool comp. So
man,
they have the pool comp day. I'm driving home. So I kind of stop and the guy ran up and knocks on the window. So I just roll the window and say, maybe he can help me get through this crowd. And he just punched me right in the face. So I'm out. I was like, oh, wow, I see the other guy running it. So I opened the door. The car is still running. The lights are on. So I didn't think twice. The guy was right back to me. So I just knocked him out. I remember actually kick him with the head in the head, that he actually rolled over my hood. He fell on my hood and rolled over my hood in front of my car. So imagine then. So now,
like some Hollywood shit.
Yeah, that end, the street was going down. It was not much, maybe like 20 yards, 30 yards where my apartment was from it. So, and the second guy ran up to me. I knocked him out as well. And
shit.
Yeah, so the crowd kind of moved away. And I'm thinking like, fuck, I'm in my greens. The cops.
Yeah, this is a problem.
Not only I get arrested, I get arrested in uniform I shouldn't even be leaving the base with. I'm screwed. Now I cannot move the car because the guy is.
And I got
in front of it. I would just
an out cold dude in front of the front tire.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I just run very quick. I left this car. The doors open. The car is still running. The lights.
Oh, you left the car there?
Oh, I left the car there because I panicked. So I ran up there. I ran to. I tell my wife, "Hey, give me civilian clothes. Give me civilian clothes. I need to jump out this clothes very quick." So. She like, what happened? What happened? She runs up there. She looks up the hill, and there is a car running. The lights are on, and the dude is laying right in front of it. She goes, "Fuck! You killed the guy. You just ran over someone."
Oh my god!
She's like, no! I knocked him out. Just give me the clothes. So
I need a safety pin.
Yeah, she dressed me up in civilian clothes.
You're shitting me. She made it.
What's that?
She made it with the clothes.
No. She in the house because I ran up to the house. So
okay. I didn't realize you were that close. I got you.
All crying. Said I killed the guy. I just ran over somebody.
Right.
We don't even have a full insurance. We had just liability only, I guess. So she runs and she gives me the clothes. I dress up. By the time I made it to the car, the cops shows up. So they're kind of funny. All these people kind of disappear.
Yeah.
And so the one of them, there's like 4 police officers, I think. 2 of police officers holding one of the guy because he keeps fainting like every few seconds. The other guy like totally lost. Say, what's your name? They ask this guy. He just looks like wobbly. It's like, I don't remember. I don't know. Like, you don't remember? No. What's this guy's name? I don't know. Hey, can you tell what the other guy? They're holding him. What's your name? No response. The guy just moves.
He's just out.
And they're fainting every like 5 seconds. So they say, okay, so what happened? They ask me. I say, well, I was driving here. I didn't know what happened. I see the crowd. I thought maybe accident happened. But this guy ran out to my car and knocked on my window. So I opened the door and he hit me. And then this other guy ran out. He tried to beat me up. And I just defended myself. What are you doing? I say, I'm in the Navy. Oh. Okay, so what's going to happen here? We're going to take these guys to emergency room, and then we decide what to do with them. You can just go home. Just give us the phone number to your work. So if something happens, we can contact you. I was like, oh, my God. So my SEAL career is over before it even started.
Yeah.
And, but I gave them the phone number. And they hold these guys to emergency room. But they hold him to prison after that.
They did really?
Yeah. They spent the night in prison. So in the jail. Yeah, they took him to jail.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't know at the time. But now going home and tell my wife, like, I drove my car, park it, and say, like, look, I think we might have to move out because they're going to kick me out. I just beat up 2 guys on the street and coming from work, from the Navy. I don't think Navy will tolerate that. So we got like thinking, scratching our heads. So in the morning, I'm going to Bats. I got my class leader and say, Mr. Schweitzer, I had an accident. I kind of like, I was defending myself. And guys just passed out and they took him to the emergency room. But I'm telling you that because the police will call here. And they told me they're going to call here. So I don't know what to do, but please help me. Just look at me. It's like, yeah, we have to tell instructors, but I think it'll be okay. Did you kill them? I said, like, no. They seem okay. So yeah, you're fine. And so then, not even 2 hours later, Chief Jacob comes up. Did you use any of these? What was they call it? Not scars. They call it scars. I think they call this the system they were teaching us hand-to-hand combat. Did you?
Yeah, scars. It was scars. I
was like scared to death. If I tell him yes, he was going to kick me out. But then I say like, well, say yes. It's like, yeah. Okay.
Oh, he told you to say yes.
Yeah. So class, come here. Says, class. Yeah. That system is very effective. As you can see, Drago here, he went asking us of two motherfuckers up there.
That's awesome.
So you better put your elbow to this training. When I teach you that stuff, you better learn well. I was like thinking, I don't know much of the scars, but
well, yeah, but you spent a little time fighting growing up. So we'll just, I like how he did that though. He just said, yeah, just say yes, and we got this. That's good.
Yeah. And then I had instructors coming to me and say, yeah, you did really, really good. I became like a pet in the up there, because like everybody was coming, hey, good job. Like I had to kick two guys' ass up there.
Two guys' asses, yeah.
I was like, what's the big deal about it? But then I was like, yeah, I did. The scars, Chief Jaco. He's
perfect. Play along with it. Did you ever find out who the guys were?
Not really. They came later with the letter that was sent to me. There's like apparently they were going to jail for more, or they had to have some. They tried to use a negotiation commission. They call it like the reconciliation commission. They sent me the letter. They would like to talk to me, and we would like to make this like go away. I didn't know what it was, so I just throw away the trash.
Throw that away. You don't want anything that they're not doing you any favors. Just let that one go.
Yeah. So then when I was working with my wife up that street, one of the wives, I guess, or girlfriends, she came up say like, you didn't want to sign this thing. You know what you did to my husband. You know what you did to my husband and all that stuff. That she was like really mean, because apparently, if I didn't sign it, didn't want to negotiate the law, then the proceeded normal thing like he was the assaulter assaulting me. So I think I don't know, they might put them to jail for a while, or at least give them some suspended sentence, because I didn't want to negotiate. But I didn't know what it was. I didn't want to get myself on the hook for something I didn't know it. So I took this letter, I read it, my wife read it, we threw it away. Not because I was if I knew what it is, most likely I would meet with him and I would say, yeah, look, we learned the lesson, I hope you learned the lesson, because I was not doing anything. I was just sitting in the car. I thought there was an accident. Maybe somebody needs help. And then when you run out of the window, ask me for help, but you just punch me. That's what I was talking about.
Obviously that's what happened, and I'm sticking to it. But if the guy hits you, I mean, obviously he doesn't know who he's hitting, because there's a little bit of a history here with knocking people's teeth out and put them in your pocket. So that you got good with that. Third phase, nothing, and then like the island, you start to realize you're gonna graduate.
Yeah, and the island, I realized I'm gonna graduate, but it was very painful. Everybody concentrates on the Hell Week, and Hell Week.
Hell Week. Yeah, no, I agree. I know what you're gonna say, but sorry, I'm interrupting.
Yeah, but when I went to San Clemente Island, and I'm sure you had the same experience.
Oh yeah,
that was like Hell Week on steroids.
Because it's nonstop, and I mean, I was 20, and it was a killer, and the whole. Nobody can hear you scream. That's why nobody ever hears about the island. There's no days off. It's like 40 plus straight days. And I think there's booze out there. The instructors are hitting a little tour as the day goes on. The guns are away. They beat you a little more.
Yeah, they make me sing.
They make you sing.
The whole class. It's like, love me tender, love me too. I remember still. And I beat people up, but I never sang in my life. I would not dare to sing.
What was your feeling about great whites? Because I know a lot of guys go out there and they're afraid of great white sharks. Did you even care about the sharks?
I didn't know what it was at the time. I didn't.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like whatever. It's just.
I tell you how naive I was when they told me first time. So you always deserve to do the get wet and sandy,
right?
I guess it look like a sugar cookie. So I run with the other guys who are sent to get wet and sandy, and sugar cookie, and I see them. They just run like maybe ankle deep water. They throw themselves in the water and just roll themselves, then go and roll themselves in the sand. I said, that's pretty stupid. It's pretty cold. I just want to go and take it just like a man. So I say, I see the big rolling wave. I say, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just duck and let the wave roll.
Let gravity do the rest.
Oh wow! I almost ripped my hands and legs off. I didn't understand the power of the ocean. After it rolled me for for quite little, I couldn't breathe. I swallowed water. I got out and it's like, holy shit, I better follow these guys. They know what they do. So I didn't descend, but never again. I set myself to be roll over with the wave.
Yeah, the waves are powerful. When I came from Montana, I said my swim buddy was a surfer. And I said, so when you're a surfer, when you fall, is it like when I fall skiing? And he goes, well, sort of, except when you fall skiing, the mountain doesn't fall on top of you.
It is. Wow, that was scary for me. I just didn't know what happened. I was up and down. My hands were and legs were ripped out. So what I would like to do now is take a break because we're through training. We're through because the skydiving I want to talk about too, but I got to get into SEAL Team 2. I got to get into Sarajevo. I got to get your and my deployment with the dream team to Egypt. But I'm gonna break off here for a second. We're gonna get into that, if you don't mind in a bit. Can you please just what's that? No. After this, let me come back for a second to skydiving. When I was
go with it. Because I just want to make sure we have enough time to talk about SEAL Team 2 and all that good stuff.
Oh, okay. So before I joined the Navy, I was teaching. I was jump master, AFF jump master. I was teaching skydiving or helping teaching skydiving in the West Memphis Skydiving Center. So I remember when I started skydiving, it was by accident pretty much. I met the girl who told me about jumping, that she jumped with a parachute and told me that I have to do it. She was kind of pretty, so I said, like, I'm okay. And I didn't want to disappoint her, so I went up there and found in the phone somewhere where the jumping is, and called them. They say, okay, come here. So I went there and asked, how can I jump? So, well, you cannot jump. You have to do the tandem jump first. I say, okay. So I can do one tandem jump. How much I pay for it? Went up there, I jump. Well, I had to do it again. I said, well, can I do it again? Oh, yeah. So I guess because it was at the end of the day, if the day was longer, I would keep jumping the tandem jumps. I would spend all my money on it. I was hooked. The first jump I was hooked.
Just the first tandem jump hooked you. Okay, that's yeah. So I love too how it's because of a girl. A lot of really bad decisions are made because of a girl.
So I asked, how can I jump on my own? I want to jump with my own parachute. Well, you cannot just put the parachute and jump. You need to be trained for it. You need to teach you. So the AFF classes cost so and so much. You do 7 jumps, and after that, you can jump on your own. So I say, okay, when can I start? Say, well, and how long does it take to make those 7 jumps? They say, well, usually people make 2 jumps a week, so maybe 2-3 weeks, and you'll be jumping on your own. After 3 weeks, I say, okay, when can I start? Well, it's Sunday now, so we can start on Thursday. I say, okay. So we start on Thursday, and on Saturday I was jumping on my own. I passed. You got
everything done in a day and a half.
Day and a half, and then I was just jumping on my own. And I borrowed somebody's parachute, and I was jumping with somebody with borrowed parachute. So
how many jumps were you doing a day? Because I know you love it. Because you actually, we'll get into that. We'll get into that later. But you taught me how to pack reserve chutes. We were doing that in the airloft.
Oh,
but
yeah.
How many jumps did you have? What'd you do a day?
At the day when I was becoming skydiver, I did 4 jumps first day and 3 jumps second day. So I had a 7 day. Saturday I came to jump on my own. So that was good. That was awesome. But anyway, we were jumping in Memphis from pretty high altitude, so around 14,000 feet.
Yeah.
So I accumulated a lot of free fall time, and I decided to go become an instructor.
Yeah, right.
So I went to become instructor. I went to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they paid us up. There was a bunch of other skydivers way more experienced than I was. They paid me up with a guy like 1,600 jumps at the time. So I say, but his 1,600 jumps, he had the same amount of free fall time that I had, maybe like with 500 jumps. So we're pretty much even. So everything was, we had an agreement, because the way it looked is one time my fellows, the other student I was paired up with, had to do class. First, the instructors were preparing us how to do these classes, what to talk about. We had all material we had to study overnight, and then come back and do the class. So agreement was that if I teach you something, you're going to answer correctly, because we knew all the answers, right? So you answer correctly, because if you don't answer correctly and I don't catch it, then the instructor, the real instructor from USPA commission would jump and made that mistake that you didn't cover. So I kind of like, we had an agreement that we will do it. We will answer the questions correctly. And he did fine, I did fine. We went through quite a few of these classes, and but I remember there's a term that we call it about the hard deck. What is your hard deck for what is hard deck for student is 2,000 feet.
Yeah.
The hard deck was understood that by the 2,000 feet, you have to make a decision if you have malfunction. Either by the 2,000 feet, you either cut away your main and open your reserve parachute, or you ride to the ground what you have. So,
at 2,000 feet?
2,000 feet.
Okay.
You pull at much higher altitude, but
Yeah,
if you have malfunction, if you have malfunction,
you just cut it away. Decision up to 2,000 feet. Okay.
Cut away by below 2,000 feet for student. You shouldn't. So you have to make that decision by 2,000 feet. Either you ride malfunction to the ground, the canopy, even malfunction, you can still safe land, or you cut away and you open your reserve. So I did when everything cool, and then we came to this point. We are waiting at the airplane. So my guy who was pretending that he is a student will change with a real instructor, and I will take a real instructor in the air and then demonstrate my proficiency in the air. So we came to this point and asked him, well, now, Mr. Student, tell me about your hard dig. He's like, look at me. It's like, well, I can't tell you. What do you mean? I say, what's your hard dig? He's like, I can't tell you that. Why you ask? I say, well, I'm thinking maybe I just ask him differently. So tell me about your 2,000-foot hard dig. This guy's like, I don't have a 2,000-foot hard dig. I was like, fuck. I messed up. I look, and I think I failed. I failed. But all these guys from the SPA commission, they were grading me. They're just laying on the ground.
Oh, that's so funny.
I was like,
tell me about your hard dig.
yeah. So then I was like, okay, now tell me about your hard deck. And
there it is. Tell me about your 2,000-foot hard dick, please.
So my nickname was Geronimo, because Geronimo. So they call me Geronimo. So I became known on like neighboring drop zones, skydiving drop zones, as a Geronimo with 2,000-foot hard dick.
That is incredible.
Geronimo with
that is one of the best stories I've ever heard. 2,000-foot Dick Geronimo. That's wonderful. So for one reason or another, we usually end up talking about guns at some point here, and whether it's one type or the other. Have you checked out F1 Firearms? I've mentioned them before. We've had them, these customized guns at some charity events before. They've made them with chainsaws and flamethrowers on them, which can be excessive but really cool. Their new HDR 10 308 models out, and you check out their pistols. F1 Firearms has 5.5-inch pistols, 8.5. They're the same finishes, but there's more to come. Very light rail systems, custom thumb and finger rest to keep your index finger in line with the apex of the trigger. And F1 Firearms, just like me, actually, people pleasers. They're customized, sick anodized colors. The colors are great. They're worth checking out. The grips are light with paracord, skeletonized technology. The 5.56 Durabolt bolt carrier groups are really cool. Law enforcement and military models, the AR-10, AR-15, 9mm. Every receiver set is fit out of the box. The rails are contoured to the upper, so there's absolutely no wiggle, and the angle of the safety can be custom the way you like it. They can be as pretty and cool as you want. Out of the box, ready to show off. They are out to succeed, and they are ready to win right out of the box. Check out F1 Firearms. Okay, so at this point, we all know how ExpressVPN protects your privacy and security online, right? But here's something you might not know. You can also use ExpressVPN to unlock movies and shows that are only available in other countries. If you're like me, you've run out of stuff to watch on Netflix, this will change your world. This whole week I've been using ExpressVPN to binge watch the UK The Office, the first one. It's simple to do. Just fire up ExpressVPN, the app, change my location to the UK, refresh Netflix, and that's it. ExpressVPN lets you control where the site wants to think you're located. You can choose from almost 100 different countries. So just imagine all the Netflix libraries you can go through. You love Korean dramas? Use ExpressVPN to parasite off of South Korean Netflix. Check out the Australian reality shows. There's funny reality shows. There's stuff about Crocs, and they pretty much speak English in Australia. But it's not just Netflix. ExpressVPN works with any streaming service like Hulu, BBC iPlayer, YouTube, you name it. There are hundreds of VPNs out there, but the reason I use ExpressVPN to watch shows is because it's ridiculously fast. There's never any buffering or lag, and you can stream in HD no problem. ExpressVPN also works on all your devices, so your phone, media console, smart TVs, and more, so you can watch what you want on the big screen or on the go. So if you want to get access to hundreds of new shows, go to expressvpn.com/theoperator right now, and you can get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. That's expressvpn.com/theoperator. expressvpn.com/theoperator. Go there and learn more. On the heels of the second largest bank failure in U.S. history and the 8th interest rate hike within a 12-month period, 186 more banks are at risk of collapsing. Your bank could be next unless the Fed does what they just did back in March and print $300 billion out of thin air, making your dollar worthless. Not to mention the recession risk that could have a significant impact on your investment and retirement accounts. Take my advice. Protect your financial future with something real. Gold and silver from my friends at Allegiance Gold. Allegiance Gold can help you protect your IRA or 401k with physical gold and silver, or, if you prefer, have it delivered securely right to your front door. Since the beginning of time, there has been only one universal currency that is always of value, and that is gold. Allegiance Gold has some of the highest ratings in the industry. 5 stars with TrustLink, a AAA rating with the Business Consumer Alliance, and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. You can invest with confidence because of the quality and service of Allegiance Gold. Get up to $5,000 in free silver on a qualifying purchase when you visit protectwiththeoperator.com today, or give them a call at 844-790-9191. Don't let the Fed play Monopoly with your money. Protect your future with Allegiance Gold. Visit protectwiththeoperator.com or give them a call at 844-790-9191.
All right, so then it's from Buds out east to SEAL Team 2. Why did you pick 2? Did you put it on your dream sheet?
Well, actually, I didn't right away. First, I wanted to go to SEAL Team 4 because, as you know, from Vietnam era SEALs, that's where we're coming post-Vietnam. I wanted to go to jungle. I want to go all jungle warfare, all that stuff. But then a friend of mine talked me into go to SEAL Team 2, and everybody was saying, hey, you speak Russian, Polish, Japanese, so you need to go to SEAL Team 2. So I say, okay. So I switched I changed my request, and I was sent to SEAL Team 2. That's how I ended up at SEAL Team 2.
Just because, yeah, good advice. What year was that?
That was end of 1993, I think, in 1993. Yeah.
Okay.
I graduated when I was 33 years old.
Outstanding. And then what was it like getting to Team 2?
Well, that was something, I didn't know anything. I wanted to present myself the best possible way. So I did put my best uniform, dress blues. I polished my shoes all night. The whitest hat I had. When I show up on the quarterdeck, they check my documents. I went through Master Chief, I think Intro, EXO, and I think CO, commanding officer. And then they sent me to get my stuff from the supply and just get ready. Well, I didn't make the supply. I was just, I was called in the middle of it by other old team guys. I already kind of knew what's going to happen. So then I had to do full PT, and test in my dress blue. So basically pull-ups, sit-ups, push-ups. Then I ran 3 miles. By the time I was over, my dress blue uniform was torn up, all sweaty, dirty. It was not really good for the uniform, but actually it was fun. So I did it. I did everything they said, and they kind of liked me. So they they let me go. Then I went to supply, got my stuff.
You ran the 3 miles in the new shoes?
Yeah, in those lacquered or polished, like super nice shoes, my uniform, those bell-bottom things, and I was hauling ass, so they can see those pants were just flying out. Like that was I bet people looking, they thought I'm crazy when they
probably didn't expect you to pass it, but they passing it was really good for your reputation right off the bat. I'd bet.
Yeah. I remember I was hanging on those pull-up bars like. It took me a while until they told me to get off. So I was banging these pull-ups, sit-ups. Yeah,
that's awesome. Then I
went to buy new uniform because that uniform was already done.
So then STTs right after that. At the time, it was SEAL Tactical Training, which each coast put their guys through it. That was right for you, yeah.
Yes, but it didn't happen very smoothly. Everything went smooth until we came to the encryption, the crypto stuff and the secret stuff. So me, it was another guy, good friend of mine, Scott Linton. So we went and we set the entire course. Then we next day we have to have exam, the test, and the instructor comes up to our desk, like look at us, say, "Hey guys, do you have a clearance? Do you have a secret clearance?" It's like, I don't know what it is. No, I guess I'm not. Scott, well, I'm not U.S. citizen yet. so just like, okay, you guys need to go with me right now. And he took us outside, said, do not ever mention you are sitting through this course. Don't tell anybody. You get your clearances, then you come back, take another test. You don't have to go through the course because you already were sitting on it. You already know everything.
At least he hooked you up. That could have been a lot worse.
Oh, could be a lot worse. Yeah. So I got my clearance. Because I was born in foreign country, so it took a little bit longer time, I guess, to get it. Scott eventually got his citizenship. Entire platoon went to his citizenship ceremony. Yeah, that was really cool. And we deploy as SEALs.
Where was he from? Where was he from?
He was from Great Britain. He was British.
Oh, okay.
So that was funny. I'm not U.S. citizen talking what secrets are you talking about?
So then, STT is, you just learn stuff, get a certificate. That's part of the process. I'm just explaining it to people. Probationary period, Trident board, where they ask you rapid fire questions and like you're putting together machine guns and minimum distance for explosive, all that stuff. Then you get a Trident, you become a Navy SEAL, and then they put you in a platoon. Now, how was platoon life?
Well, platoon life, you experience the same thing because we are the old school.
Yes.
So we were not SEALs. We were MEAT or FNGs, fucking new guys.
Fucking new guys, yeah.
Yeah. So all that stuff, like I remember first time they came in and they asked me to, few other new guys invite for the beer kegger. You remember at SEAL 2 and 4, every Friday we finished work at 12. Then it was mingle time at the kegger of beer. So awesome. We were drinking beer for a few hours and then go home. And as a new guy, when we were invited, so we were very impressed. These old SEALs are going to mingle with us. I'm sure we can learn a lot of cool stories. And then it happened. As soon as we show up, they jumped us, taped us, and they hang us up on the highway like a bats upside down by our legs on those chains.
Yeah, I know.
So we're just hanging there and then they just lower us a few times down. They pour the beer in our guts and then just pour us. Well, we're hanging there for quite some time. And I was just worried that they forget about us. They leave us for a night. That would be scary. But
upside down, that's going to be pretty bad. The hazing, Navy's trying to clamp down on. I liked it. Within reason, because it makes you feel like you're part of the team, and eventually it stops. I remember the first time I went to one of those, I was like, well, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to just have a few beers, and when they start getting tipsy, I'm out of here. And it doesn't work like that, because as soon as you show up, you're fucked.
And taped. Most likely.
Happy. Yeah. We actually, when I had new guys, I think in my last platoon, I invented the iron meat triathlon or a heptathlon or something. And somehow we got access to the base pool. And so we had them doing drills in a monster mash and, shotgun a beer. It's just, yeah. I mean, always alcohol involved, but I think it's good for camaraderie as long as nobody gets hurt.
Yeah. And you know what? You learn what the guy is made of. If he has a thin skin, you really have no business to be in the teams. And when you see the guys freaking out and just, threatening, I'm going to tell on you, to stay away from the guy. Yeah.
I'm not one to get claustrophobic, but I was never a big fan of the happy hat with the handle. They can take your entire face up and then drag you around, but you can't see and you can't breathe, but you're with friends.
But it's very useful. It is very useful, that especially the handle when you have to have prisoners and carry them, just safely carry them out of the target. So that handle actually helps a lot. That's why we could not use we could not. We'll go back to Iraq, but it was very helpful tool.
It's good training.
Good training, yeah.
So okay, the platoon. Then you go. What was the deployment like? You went. Was Bosnia going yet?
That was Bosnia going on. My first. Yeah, Bosnia was going on. My first platoon was when O'Grady was.
Oh
shut
yeah,
down. Yeah. So that was pretty uneventful. There was really nothing special going on until the second platoon when I returned to Bosnia again. And that time we got involved in some of that stuff. And it was under command of, I have to say his name, Mr. Berrien. What a great officer. I was so lucky to having awesome, fantastic officers and leaders in my platoon. So yeah, that was also the same platoon where I met the strongest, I think, Navy SEAL I met in the SEAL teams, and Chris Stroop. I'm using these names because only if I have explicit permission. Some of these guys I can't say because I didn't get in touch with them, or it's hard to get in touch with some of these guys. So I'm only using names where I have explicit permission to use the name. Cool. So Chris Stroop. We went to France to visit the French guys that didn't like us, didn't like to work us. They were like a bunch of that commando, whatever the name of their commando is. There was the naval commando, but they were so little tiny guys in their sweats, like looking like ballerinas, doing jumping jacks, like having this 5-pounders and waving the 5-pound weights and like the jumping. That was so funny. But so when Chris showed up, he just put a bunch of plates on their bar and the chest press. He picked it up, and I think I did only one, and bar bent. And the weights start falling off. So they freaked out. They didn't like us already because they did not want to work with us. Yeah, so they got pissed that we went and damaged their equipment.
Like a bunch of Terminators.
yeah. So then Robert came in. He put for the military press. Weights that he put as much weight as like two of these French commandos were waiting together, and that didn't work well either. So we just basically wrecked their gym. They hated us even more, and that was it. But that was funny.
I heard a joke about someone said, "Hey, I'm selling a French assault rifle. It's never been fired and only dropped once."
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it during Second World War. They lasted less than 30 days, and they give up, and half of the country cooperated with Germany. So that was kind of bad. I don't have much respect for that. They are great guys. I'm sure this great nation, but the Macron now is like another little Joseph Stalin Jr. up there. So
yeah. Well, I mean, the resistance was strong during World War II, but you got the brand new German Blitzkrieg flying through. I don't know if a lot of civilians aren't fighting. They don't want to spill their wine. I love France and the French language. I'm just making jokes. Everyone, calm down.
So anyway, we went up there. We can talk about all this dark side stuff of SEAL teams, but you can find any book and you can read about it. You can read the toll that we pay. So I'm glad we can bring the lighter side of SEAL teams, but it's not only the gruesome bad stuff, but it's also fun stuff. So when we went to Sarajevo, it was actually the first time that we were doing some real live missions. And I remember the bad thing about it was, at Midrash, we could wear civilian clothes, but unfortunately, there were no cookies at Midrash. They refused to give us the cookies. So every time, because me, Chris, and then my platoon, like Steve Wolf, hey Steve, so our LPOs, we went work out late at night, and at midnight we go eat in civilian clothes, of course. And one night they always say, "No, there's no cookies for you guys. This is no cookies for at midnight." I look at the table that, like, dude, like in my age, I was a bit older. I was like 34, 5 years old, 37 years old. Seats and have a full plate of cookies. I say, what about that guy? You know what?
Yeah.
It's like, well, he's general, so he can have his cookies. I say, okay. So like a couple of days later, I'm coming out. I say, I want my cookies. There's no cookies. Go and tell the chef that General Dzieran is here, and I want my cookies at that table right there. I just point some random table. Dude, I haven't seen anybody moving so fast. He just dropped everything he had, run behind the kitchen up there somewhere, blah, 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 blah. And dude is coming out not even 5 minutes later with huge plate of cookies on the table. So my other guys coming in say, Drago, how did you do that? I say, shh, just call me General, at least around these people. But it got me in trouble too a little bit because now I could not eat up there when a lot of people were signing up for the meal, because they always greeted me
as a general.
Good evening, General Dzieran. So I was like, you know, if the real general, NATO general will be there, they're going to bust me. So I was trying to...
I can see that happening. I know your affinity for sweets. I was at the baseball game at the Yankee Stadium the other day, and I saw that huge tray of cookies and cakes. And I had to send you that picture. I'm like, dude, I wish you were here. You would destroy this whole thing. I love it. So, you know, that platoon was because when I graduated, when I got to SEAL Team 2 in 1997, January, when we were filling out where we wanted to go, I picked SEAL Team 2 because of what you guys were doing. Because there was nothing going on pre 9/11.
Yeah, we're most active.
Yeah, so I went out there, and then and plus I heard about the UCOMs. You would do the European deployments with per diem, and you're living in Germany and you're traveling Europe. I didn't get that at first. I did a MARG on a flat boat, which, you know, hanging out with a bunch of sailors and Marines and seeing nothing but man ass. That's kind of like going to Oktoberfest.
Yeah, but you know, also like when we were with in Sarajevo and Tuzla later in these locations, we work out so much that we became like 200 pounds club. Everybody wants to be above 200, and my entire platoon was above 200. Matter of fact, when we went to brief, we had to once every week, I think we had to attend briefs with army guys and army people. So there was army lieutenant at the screening as we are walking in. So we sit down, she called my officer, Mr. Berrien, say, hey, Lieutenant, you can tell your guys they can take their body armor. They don't need to bring their body armors with you. It's like, man, they just look like that. They don't have body armors. They don't wear it. Yeah, but she thought that we are coming in with the body armors. She said, it's safe here. We are in the headquarters. They don't have to wear body armors.
That's awesome.
Like, we didn't.
Well, that's like our platoon, because when I finished my first at 2, they had to throw that strike platoon for the carrier together.
That was the first one, yes.
And that was the only reason I got it as a second platoon was because I'd finished sniper school and you needed a sniper. And that was it. And like we got another guy because he was a comms guy, and we got another guy because he was a corpsman. And then they threw us together. And that platoon, I'm still convinced, was an all-star team. That's
brother.
That's like even I remember. So Jocko was in that platoon, and he said, you know, when we were drafting in this platoon, I really wanted to get Tiny. I wanted Tiny in the platoon, you know, our guy Tiny.
Yeah.
And he said, because I want Tiny to stand behind me with his arms crossed and no look in his face as I'm briefing, just so people hear me and look at him.
This is when we became the best friends. You know, you remember?
Oh, yeah. Well, because I think where I really was impressed with you was when we did that 50 click hump and I was carrying the 60. Just like so I'm carrying a 60, and we had a West Coast platoon chief, so he used to the desert. He had us carry a minimum of 10 quarts of water, which you don't need to do if you have iodine or a pump, whatever. So it's heavy as shit. I started getting blisters like the second I stepped off the truck. We had 50 in the mountains, the Ozarks.
Through the mountains, yeah.
What impressed me though is I'm sitting there and I remember saying something about being dehydrated. You didn't even take your ruck off. You just reached behind. You knew where it was, and you handed me Tang. Drink Tang. I was like, you're squared away, dude. You know exactly what you're doing. And that's where you and I started hanging out every damn day.
That Chief Laith Patella, I hope I can say his name. He was the biggest one of the biggest influencer in my career. This is the guy I always wanted to emulate, and I failed most of the time because the guy was not. You could not be the hardest, one of the hardest men in the SEAL teams, and also one of the best chiefs I think I met. Who you can see this care for his people. It was incredible. But I was very lucky. I need to admit that I have a Chief Baggett, Chief. There's so many good chiefs and officers. I never seen bad one yet, or I may like less or more some of them, but I never seen the bad one yet. Those. But I remember too on this hump, this 50 click, that's what impressed me because you were carrying them 60.
Yeah.
And we're carrying those pea shooters. It's like, wait, nothing. But so one day I came saying, hey, you know what? We can switch the guy. I can just help you maybe carry it. It almost killed me. I was like, no, I'm carrying my own shit. I'm carrying my own weight, brother. I don't need any help. Even if I'd rather die here than
I was carrying 500 rounds of ammo, 10 of water, and I'm humping the pig and all the shit you need. And me being me now at 47 years old, I would have let you carry 200 rounds of ammo. Like I don't need to prove this shit. If I need that much ammo, you'll either hand it to me or I'll take it out of your ruck.
No, but you impress everybody.
That was a good experience, though, man. Learning how to live out of the ruck, how to pack a bag right, how to carry the right shit, and you learn a lot about people too.
You impress everybody in that platoon.
Oh, thank you.
That was, impressed the hell out of me. And you were not that big at the time either.
Oh.
I was just thinking, like, how this guy fucking put up with this shit.
Well, we got big later because I think Jocko, as the AOIC, said everyone in this platoon needs to bench press at least 300 pounds. And he was the one that said, I don't care what else you do. Can you carry me with all my stuff on after I'm shot? We need to be strong. And so we did. And then we got on that. We started lifting hard, but then you and I got on that carrier. And I remember, and I'm not trying to brag, but like we would warm up with 100 pull-ups. That's a warm up for the back workout. Then you get heavy.
And then we get heavy. They put the 45 plates between our legs and do the pull-ups. That was.
I'm not doing that today, but you know what I like about the carrier though? I think we could eat 24 hours a day, so they'd have cheeseburgers all the time.
Except cookies in the midrats. You remember that? There's like. And I spot one day the dude walking with the big plate above his head full of cookies. So I'm just walking behind him. Where is he going? Sure, he is going to Chief's Mess. So the Chiefs were
damn Chief's Mess, yeah.
Next day.
Next day, Chief Giraffe.
He was walking with like a very narrow hallway. So I just hit myself in the corner. And as soon as he passed me, I just walked behind him, just grabbed a couple of them and the other way. And I was going there for two, three, I think, days. I was so happy. Then I think I take you with me. I don't remember. I think it was you. So I say, look what's going to happen. We just go and just pick the cookies and it'll be okay. So I'm walking to the guy. I just get my hands. I'm ready to grab those cookies. That's on his head. He turns around, so that was you stealing my cookies, the Chief's cookies. Okay, what's your name? So I just covered my ass and beat the other way. He couldn't chase me with this big.
He's not going around corners with that big plate of cookies. I remember.
They were counting. They were counting those cookies. So every time he showed up like 6, 7 cookies less, I think they were getting pissed. So then he was escorted to that mess. There was him that cook was going another cook with him.
Because Drago's cookie had I remember a challenge and reply that you had if I found something good, cookies or maybe some booze or something else, I would say candy gram for Drago.
Drago loves candy.
So that was fun. So we were on the JFK CV-67. We did stop in Egypt, which, I mean, it was all right. Like
we got sick.
We got sick. Well, there's flies everywhere. There's a Pizza Hut across the street. And I even remember Jocko saying to us, so unimpressed, goes, all right, here's the pyramids. You got 5 minutes.
That was funny. I remember just the thing that I remember from Egypt was having those big slabs of meat hanging. And they were black.
Yeah.
They were black. You remember? It was until from when we were driving bus, we can look at and see all these black slabs of meat. I was like, what is this? And then the guy came in, just waved the hand, and those flies showed up, and the meat turned out red. so tarda bread. So
I remember saying, like, I used to wonder when they would show those starving people in Africa and they had their bugs in their eyes. I'm like, why don't they just wipe them out? You know why? Because it doesn't matter. Because they're just so many. You can't. Yeah. So
yeah.
Then we went through the ditch and we I don't know how. I think Q, our OIC, worked some magic where we got to live. And we went to Bahrain and we didn't. We got to live off base. I think it was called Lanai Plaza. Is that right?
Yeah, because there was no space on base. They had to put us outside the base somewhere in the hotel.
Which was fun. So, we were able to celebrate the millennium. I remember the party that we had. It was so much fun because everything was locked down for some reason. One of the pictures I still have is there's people laying. The party's over. People are like, there's there's a table with 4 panes of glass. One pane of glass had shattered because obviously someone threw the table, but people would walk by and set their drinks on it, and there's no glass there. It just falls to the floor. There's a picture of this table covered in drinks and cans and bottles, and below it is just a bunch on the floor because people didn't realize there's no glass there. Well, that was a fun party.
Oh, God. Yeah, it was a fun party. It was the millennial party. I will never forget that. It was one of the best one. And we have those pictures to prove it, right?
Yeah, pictures to prove it. You came rolling in some officer's uniform with a cigar.
Oh, yeah. Well, what happened is one of our guys almost threw an officer, the Air Force officer.
Down the stairs, 5 flights.
5 flights down the stairs.
Straight down, not down the stairs. I'm talking straight down the middle.
Straight down, yeah, on the concrete. But I think he caught her by her ankles.
He caught her by, and that's when the party ended.
Well, no, that's when I came back with her uniform on me.
Party ended for her.
Party ended for her, but started for us too. So I was partying in her uniform with the lieutenants, and so.
I'll post that one. There's a picture where someone had thrown I think Scott Neal threw the couch against the wall. It's leaned up there. And then one of our guys decided he was peeing out the window on the 5th floor. And he
outside the window, he was standing on the ledge, holding
he was thinking he could fly.
Yeah. He was telling us, "Hey, I can fly." We're like, no, you cannot fly, brother.
Well, because we were drinking out of that devil horn.
Horn, yeah.
Weird shit happened when we drank out of that horn. I think it was the devil's horn because
devil's horn. There's on the picture. Picture. He is actually holding the devil's horn. Every one of us. When we drank from that, something went wrong for that for the guy drinking. Yeah, something.
You know who we got that horn from was Tiny.
Oh, that's why they.
So he probably ripped it off the devil's head himself. I know what Tiny.
Yeah.
And then we did get one mission on that deployment, and that was when that Russian tanker was smuggling Iraqi oil. And,
yes.
And then that was the first. I think that was the first Hilo-born. What's the word I'm looking for?
Not VBSS.
VBSS, yeah.
Well, hijacking. I can. Jacko corrected me very quickly that this is VBSS mission, but basically we hijacked the tanker. So that's how I say it. We just flew up there, a rope on it, and took over.
I had the best seat in the house because I was a sniper. I was sitting outside the 60 with my nods on, and I got to watch you guys go through that. Didn't shoot anybody, but you were just fucking people up. It was awesome.
Well, they were bad guys anyway. But you know what? Remember before we went on that mission, I would go up to you and say, "Bro, I'm so glad you are in that Hilo. I feel so safe." You know, there are some guys like you, Jacko, and so many other people that make me feel invisible. You know, like nothing can happen to me. And I think I woke up to you, say, "Bro, this is so good." I'm totally.
We had some pipe hitters in that platoon, man. That was a great. And almost everyone did bench press 300.
Oh yeah. The funny thing is when we took over this tanker, we searched it, we took all the weapons out, and we took it to the destroyer we were on. It was
we had that flag. I have a picture of us with that Russian flag too.
Yeah. So we took it down, and the next crew came to change us, right? Because we were tired. We when they came back with big bag of hunting stuff and say, "Guys, you left all the weapons. There was poor search. All these weapons are right here." And me and Jacko look inside. It's like, dude, there's just butter knives and forks. Jacko takes binoculars. He look at it. So you stole the butter knives and forks, and you leave this axe hanging on the door. What do you? So they were like, didn't say much, but that was funny. But the problem was, when I went, we changed again. So I'm going back on the ship and I speak Russian. So they come to me and say, Mister, we need our forks and our butter knives. We cannot eat. I was like, what do you mean you cannot eat? eat with your hands,
Yeah.
Well, no, we don't have a teeth. And she pull out, and they all, like there was 4 or 5 of them pleading for the butter knives. They pull out. There would be even one full set of teeth among the entire crew. They had no teeth. They couldn't eat. So Jacko told these other guys to bring the butter knives and forks back to them.
You fucking war heroes.
That was funny part.
That was a great deployment. I learned a ton on that deployment.
Oh, yes.
The amount of experience. I think like at the end we had 3 guys that were chiefs in that because dudes, and then we let me
mention very quick. Jacko welcomes us into the platoon. I think you remember that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. He just looked at us. I'm going to choke out entire platoon in like, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. So we're like, yeah, right. and then every 30 seconds you can hear the tapping out or somebody passing out. So they just like shake his legs, and bring him back to consciousness. So I remember like three guys like, hey, I forgot, but I have something to do. I'll be right back. Yeah. And they never showed up. So basically he choked out entire platoon.
He choked out the whole platoon. And you, I mean, he was an animal back then. I can't imagine how good he is now.
Oh God, yeah. He told us. He was teaching us, and he was so good. I remember we wrestled. We were partners on it, but eventually it was like, "You kick me in the balls." No, you kick me in the balls. So we was becoming serious. One time you were choking me out. Another one I was choking you out. But so we're pretty much even set up. But
because they had me, you, and Scotty Neal. And Scotty, I remember getting choked out by him, and I was complaining as I'm seeing everything falling. I remember saying, "But this guy can bench press a Buick." Jeez, there was not a lot of technique, just raw strength and try to fight.
Oh yeah, you remember another Scotty when I was wrestling with him, and I'm choking him, wrapped him up pretty good, and then Jacko started prying me out, and Jacko and Mr. I think Feldman said, stop, Drago, let him go. I was like, no, he's stepping out. I say, no, he's not. He's stepping out. I say, no, he's not. I don't hear it. Hey, they pry me out. So did you hear the kind of like, I say, yeah, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know who was saying that. I say, no, that was him. And then Scotty came to himself, say, dude, I had no breath. I couldn't even say tap, tap, tap. All I could say was like, tip, tip, and passed out. So yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. We had our little dojo right down there in the
the
aft SAS. That was where they used to store the nuclear weapons. We had a gym. We had our stadium seating with the TV, and before we get out of it, that platoon was awesome. And Jocko was awesome because he hadn't been to college yet. So what he told us is that Team 1, he got capped, so advanced to E5, and then he got capped to ensign. Like, I haven't been to college. I'm enlisted knuckle dragger, and I'm going to be an officer now. But one of my favorite parts of that deployment is when we went to Fort Smith, Arkansas, which you wouldn't think is one of the best cities for liberty. There's so many good clubs and bars. But I remember one night, and you and I are hanging out at a bar, and I was talking to some girl that I didn't realize her boyfriend was right there. And so he apparently didn't like me. And he said something. And so I'm like, well, I guess it's on. And here's where I learned that sometimes Drago's first move is a kick to the head. What the hell?
It doesn't work.
It worked like a champ. I didn't even have a chance. I didn't even spill my drink.
Well, he was mean to you. He was ugly. So I fixed it. But the problem with it was later that there was a salad chef at the bar up there, I think, with this restaurant or the bar where we're sitting. Mm-hmm. So it was some kind of chef. So next time we were eating, there was like,
that's right.
Okay, no salads. You guys want any salad?
He worked at Outback. We was the salad guy. And we would go to Outback every night for the seasoned syrup.
That was the other one. That was the other. Yeah, the salad boy was the other beat up guy.
Oh, shit. That was a lot.
We beat quite a few of those, I think. Because I remember, in that salad bar, I ran out. It was like 3 guys. You are beating already one of them. So I said, well, I want to have some fun too. And I beat up another one, but it turned out to be one of them was salad.
The salad guy.
And we never had a salad.
If anyone's ever at dinner anywhere with Drago or me, just be safe. Don't order the salad. We don't know who's working.
Well, by the way, you almost killed me in Dallas.
That's right. I forgot about that. Because I ordered turtle soup.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you were thinking about this.
I didn't know you were shellfish. Yeah. I think you said shell. That's not shellfish, right? It is.
Yeah, this is what you told me. It's like, hey, Drago, don't worry about it. The snails, They are so good. You need to try it. I said, I have a shellfish allergy. Dude, it's not a fish. It's a snail. And same thing with the turtle. I say, turtle, well, it's not a fish. And then by the end of it,
I know.
You look at me.
I had a sprint through downtown Dallas looking for a place to get Benadryl.
Oh, actually, you sprint and you pick this the one of the waiters who ran up, and he was just walking back. You remember? Yeah. I told these guys, look, if I pass out because I was suffocating, going black spots, dial 911. This is my phone. Just press the button. So they took it, and then this guy is just lollygagging. You watching this guy? You watching this guy? He's just walking. So you run up there. You grab him by his scarf, and you run with him all the way back with this Benadryl. Right. So when you dropped him, he was the guy who fell in the bushes because he actually passed out from the, I think, exertion. Right. But I had to push the Benadryl with my fingers through my throat because I couldn't do it. And then hospital kicked me out. I went straight to hospital. But I couldn't speak. I say, I need help. So you sign this paper, fill it up. I say, my hands are swollen. I can't grab anything. And they say, well, if you can grab anything, you can sign it. Please leave. I was like, okay. And I left. I called my wife. I said, look, they kicked me out from the hospital.
That was after the Navy. So all the combat, all the shit, you end up almost dying because of shellfish. So we did that. We did another trip to Europe, and we sort of split ways because we went. Team 2 turned into Team 4. We went over, did nothing really big. Iraq started, and right in between before I went to SEAL Team 6, before I went over for Green Team, I was in the Master at Arms Shack, which meant I was in charge of Liberty Call, and I sell the friggin' protein bars and make sure all E5 and below report to the quarterdeck for field day. But you somehow ended up in Iraq, and this is just awesome. Can you tell us? Because I remember I would get a call, you're just in Iraq. I would get a call in the Master at Arms Shack, and it's you. Hey, Brother Russ, this is Drago. I'm in Iraq, and I'm okay. And I'm like, just tell someone. I'm like, I don't think the Navy works that way, but I'll let them know. I'll go see the XO. And the XO was really good. He's alive, great. Well, how did that happen?
Well, what happened is we deployed to South America. In the middle of my deployment, somewhere in the middle of my deployment, well, this is where I met Chief Nicky Baggett, who actually put my career back on track. Yep. I will never forget him. He's warrant officer, chief warrant officer, but in my heart will be always my chief because he did so much for me. So anyway, we deployed to South America, and in the middle of deployment, I got the call by Chief, and actually he's the only one chief who wrote me. I got written up for being mean to the platoon. So that was kind of, but it helped me. So anyway, in the middle of deployment, he comes back and calls me in the office and say, "Hey, look, you need to deploy to Baghdad. You'll be working with GROM. There are police special forces. Yeah, we need to help. We need to kind of integrate them with us. You need to help out." So we go for 3 months, maybe. You come back, it'll be 6 months deployment, and you come back, start your new cycle. So I say, okay. We are aggressive bunch. So all the guys in the platoon say, how the hell this guy gets it, go to war, and we don't. Everybody wanted to go to war. That platoon that I was in next was fantastic platoon. Everybody wanted to go to war. So I was the lucky one. So I went up there. But, 1 month passes, 2nd month, 3rd month, I don't hear from my command. So it's like 3 months I'm supposed to come back. But they didn't say nothing. I'm not going to say anything. I mean, I love it here, So 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. I hear nothing. I just was calling you as a hey, I'm still here. So you say, okay, Drago, so like good friends all the time.
I hadn't even been to Iraq yet. I wish you would have stayed on the line longer to tell me what was going on. Were you working with the GROM the whole time?
Yes, I was double dipping. I was working with GROM and with our guys. So there was this. I racked up some of these missions pretty good, but I loved it.
With those SEAL Team 4 guys?
Yes. Well, no, there was. I was staying there. I was like a permanent fixture. The platoons were rolling out from SEAL Team 2, SEAL Team 7, all other platoons. Okay. And I remember even for when I went the 3rd time to Iraq, the guy, like an army guy, I didn't know him from Adam. He comes up to me, say, "Hey, have you been here in 2003?" Say, "Yeah." have you been here in 2004? Yeah. And you were in 2005. Did you ever go home? I was like, well, for a short time. So he kind of remembered me because I think I'm the only one who was, I never carry holster. I just carry gun when I was in the chow hall behind my belt, so in my pants. Yeah. So always the handle was sticking out in front of me. And it was like, I think he remembered me from that. So,
and where were you staying? What part were you in Baghdad?
I was in Baghdad, and I was in Baghdad. Then on the second deployment, went to different town, and the third one we were doing something else, but also from Baghdad, but on different base. The reason I came back after this almost 9 months in Iraq, to basically over a year deployment, I think total, if I remember, I came back because my NVGs broke, and I called the command. And I said, hey, I need send me to. Transfer me to Armory. Some new guy answered. I say, hey, I need an NVG, 7 NVGs. Can you send it to me? It's like, who are you? I'm Drago. Okay, where do you want it to send them to? Baghdad, Iraq. Because I was thinking for a while, they started laughing and say, hey, this dude is like some Iraqis calling for equipment. And so he told me, I was trying to elicit some gear from the SEAL team to Iraqi terrorists. So eventually, I had to threaten him a little bit. I said, I'm going to kill you, motherfucker, when I come back.
I'm going to kill you, motherfucker. I would threaten him a little bit.
Well, so I said, put Master Chief online. And he did put Master Chief online. And it was like, the conversation was something like, oh, hey, Drago, it's good to hear from you. Where are you at right now? I'm in Baghdad. Oh, yeah. How long have you been there? It's like going 9 months, Master Chief. And like crickets for a while. I say, oh, hold on 1 second. Let me get this online.
Yeah,
so this, hey, Drago, you need to come back because such and such SEAL team is going out and we are next. You need to start work up. So I came back, but then I went back. I think 2 weeks later, I went back to again with this other SEAL team. And then I came back. They called me too. They're supposed to go for a couple of weeks to help out. Yeah. Like 4 months later, SEAL Team 4 is calling me, hey, dude, you need to come back. We are about to deploy, and you are still there. I say, okay, I came back and just came back again from the that was actually good that they forgot about me. Kind of. They didn't. They were so busy that they didn't think about it. At that time, you remember, I was a lot of trouble, causing a lot of problems. So no news from Drago was good news. So whatever he is doing, just keep him there doing it.
That might be the ultimate out of sight, out of mind. We haven't heard anything. So he's going to be fine. He's not dead. This is okay. Yeah, you got in a little bit of trouble, and as someone who's been in a little bit of trouble myself, that's all good, man. Just stay in the fight. You'll be fine.
But I have to say something too here very quick about Grom guys when I was working with. What a professional force, but these people do not fuck around. Those are the guys you don't want to get on their bad side. Okay. And they look like that too. They look like devils too. They're big beard, long hair, but very professional. And I remember they were cleaning houses like so super fast, and they were fascinated. I said, how did you guys do that? So some of our guys were asking, well, you see, when they march the prisoners, they don't really march them like gently on the street. Like, hey, we are leaving the target. We need to go. She said they opened the window and just like, and there were like 2 Grom guys waiting, and just the guy was like flying right in their hands, very gently, very safe, very safe. And just, they put him back on the leg and just throw him on the Humvee. But they were seldom walking them down the stairs. They were just like flying them, and there were 2 people catching them. And this guy got myself in trouble, and I understand exactly why. Because one of the targets we hit, that was a big hotel with Syrians in it, in Fallujah. At that time, everybody pulled out from Fallujah. Yeah. So and after we got all the targets, we got all the prisoners, we're walking them down, and my guy doesn't want to walk. Every step he makes, he falls down. So I'm getting pissed off. I'm just laying to him Drago's style a little bit. He needs to move. He needs to be faster. And I'm falling down with him. I'm all in the sweat, dust, sweaty because, from 3rd floor. One of the guys said, Drago, what happened? I said, that fucker doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to walk. I think he's scared of something. He said, no, dude, he doesn't have a leg. I was like, oh. So I looked up there. The dude didn't have a leg. I just didn't know. It's not like he didn't want to go. He just couldn't go. So I got to drag him down the stairs. And there's things like that happen.
He wanted to go, but he can't go that fast.
He can't go that fast.
Now, so what was, I I think I know, but what was the Polish Grom's mission there? Just a high value target?
Same like ours.
Yeah.
Same with ours. We worked together. So one night they did the hit, another night we did the hit. And they were just like, so we just alternate. They lived with us. They lived in the same camp. And they did so many things. I mean, they were using the same tactics, the same way, they behaved the same way, that there was nothing unusual for me to hear on the radio. Hey, Drago, is the Grom guy or our guy up there? I was like, well, I think it's it's Grom guy. So they look the same. They have the same equipment. They the same professionalism.
That's
very
bad.
professional.
I never got to work with the Polish Grom, but I've heard nothing but good things about him.
Badass, yeah.
Badass is the way it's described too. Like that's just. I mean, that's got to make you proud too that the Polish guys are such bad motherfuckers.
They are bad motherfuckers. Well, I think they're like me, I guess, like us.
That's a bad motherfucker. You are a bad motherfucker. I hate to even want to tell you this finally.
But yeah, they were pretty much like us, the same training. The difference is that they were stood up by us, by Delta Force. They never had the baggage of communist unit. They never had the mentality. They were from the very get-go, from the very beginning, and their selection is hard like fuck too. So yeah, their selection is awesome, and I think this is that's why these guys are so similar to us.
No, that's really cool. A lot of good stuff there. I mean, you know, people talk about whether or not we should have gone into Iraq. Doesn't matter. What mattered is the person that you're fighting next to. And every time that we the Polish Grom, our allies, the Special Boat Service, SBS, anytime we fought the bad guys toe to toe, we fucking kicked their asses. And and I'm a big believer that combat is really good training. Like I learned more about breaching in combat than I did at breacher school.
Absolutely. And I want to add one thing here. They said, I remember later on in the thing, they were emphasizing, you guys here to win the hearts and minds and all that stuff. I was like, I didn't come here to win their hearts. I went to get her their ass. I am terrorizer. I'm there to go to terrorize the terrorists. By the way, the best way to win the war with terrorists to terrorize the terrorists. And I think that's what we did very well, and they work out very well until politicians start chiming in.
Yeah.
And then even today, you know, they ask us very often too, like when I was BUDS instructor, the SEAL instructor later, Instructor Drago, what is like to be a SEAL? I said, well, to be a SEAL is more like a customer service, like a government customer service. But our customers were always wrong, and we got to kill them.
Always wrong. I love that too. Striking fear into the heart of the fearless is that. I mean, terrorizing the terrorists. I had heard too, and so I was at Red Team at this point. But I had heard over there through the grapevine that there was a bounty on this guy Drago's head.
Actually, there was. I didn't know about it until another platoon, like after my platoon, he came back and said, dude, they are, you know, there are bounties on that such and such people, but there's you by the name. They are posters in Baghdad with your face, with you in it, and your name. And that kind of like built concern. So I thought, hey, Shad, tell me about what do you mean? He said, well, I knew this you because I know you, but like if somebody doesn't know you, maybe not you shouldn't. It's not like you can look at you and you change already too. You don't look like you. So yeah, this is you, and we've seen these posters there. Yeah, so they were posters because I became very notorious.
Can you give any examples, or do you care to?
What's that?
Any examples, or should we leave that for a private conversation?
I think we just leave it for the private
we'll
conversation.
Sure. I do need to confess that I contributed to your legend because they were scared shitless of you, and they said because they were calling us the filthy team with the tattoos on their hands. That they're referring to us, and they said, you know, some of them are looking for Drago, and I said, well, you can't miss him because he's 10 feet tall, weighs 500 pounds, and he breathes fire.
And has no tattoos on his arms.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. I want to talk about your book, The Pledge to America. That comes out this summer, correct?
Yes, it's coming up June 13th. So it is on pre-sale now on Barnes & Nobles and Amazon and other outlets.
Right. The Pledge to America. You were kind enough to send it to me a couple of weeks back. I read it. Phenomenal. And I just love the way you said it's not a book about being a Navy SEAL. There's plenty of those. This is about we discussed in the first few episodes the realism of socialism and how dangerous it is. So I think this should be required reading. I say you only know what you're taught. This book will teach you a lot, and you did a great job, brother. Love the book. You want to mention NavySealsFund.org one more time?
Yes, the Navy Seals Fund, NavySealsFund.org is 501c3 charity. And it's a little bit different because this charity, we don't have any paid position. It's run by Navy SEALs only. And we don't have a red tape. Everybody who is or was 5326, we are standing by his side. We'll make sure he doesn't fall down. And all the funds coming to Navy SEALs Fund are coming directly to our guys, to families of our guys, because there is we don't pay ourselves in this charity. So every money coming in are going out to the cause.
The Navy Seals, NavySealsFund.org, and make sure you pre-order the Pledge to America or buy it when it comes out. You're going to see it everywhere. You're going to hear all about it. We're going to make it a bestseller. Drago, I really appreciate all the time. You're going to be a regular on my podcast because now we can talk about current events and how everyone's stupid, but we're smart. As we close, I need to finish with the story you told a little bit ago, and I got to remind people that if you have a 2,000-foot hard dick, you're never out of the fight. I'll talk soon, brother. Love you, man.